Today, I want to talk about Betty Edwards' book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, and its companion workbook, and why the workbook is the one I most often recommend to my students. So let's hop inside and get started right away. Today, we're going to talk about Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain and the Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain workbook by Betty Edwards. Now, these are wonderful books, and if you're a person who likes to paint and not draw, if you have a fear of drawing or you want to improve your drawing, these books are a game changer. They literally unlock drawing. If you've ever had a fear of drawing, these are the books for you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about why I prefer the workbook, which is not as talked about, not as well known, and people just don't really talk about this book as often as they talk about this book. And this is the book that people normally buy. Now, it is a wonderful book, but is more of a textbook than this one. And I did do a video about these two books very early on in my channel, before I really got my channel going very well. And it is one of my most popular videos. And I did a complete flip on this and on this one. But I want to talk about it a little bit more today because I feel like there are a lot of people out there that are afraid to draw, and I've encountered it in my own practice where I've had people come in and say they love to paint but they don't want to draw because there's so much fear around drawing, and literally drawing and painting is the same thing. And so they're companions, and the more you can release your fear of drawing, the better your paintings will become. And so even if you only ever want to do, just paintings for yourself and you never want to be a professional, drawing will really improve your practice. So I'm going to do a very quick flip on this Betty Edwards, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. And then we're going to go through this one in more detail. So I'm going to put this one aside for now, and we're going to talk about this one. Now, this is a wonderful book. It is more of a textbook. And I do really love this book for a lot of reasons. It has a lot of really good information in it, but it's for practical use. Now, this is a textbook, a workbook for me. So you will see a lot of highlighting and stuff like this, but I do use it as an actual workbook and textbook for my teaching practice. So I actually use my books. So a lot of times when I share books, they might have highlights or notations or whatever, but I want to show you this book is extremely wordy. And Betty has a doctorate, so she loves to talk. So it is very difficult to get through this book and find the actual exercises, drills, etc. that you need to improve your drawing. So, but I want to show you some of this stuff. Now, these are exercises that were done by actual students of Betty when they first started. And you can see like they're almost childlike, cartoony beginning and after photos. So when you see the beginning photos, they look like they're done by, little kids or something. And then next to them, I think they're like 8 weeks later or 6 weeks later, they're doing these fabulous portraits. Now, you don't have to be interested in portrait drawing to do this, use these drawing drills and exercises. She does do a lot of portrait drawing, I think, in her own practice, but you can just see some of these are just astounding. I mean, this person, drew this gorgeous portrait after just a short period. This one is amazing. I mean, just this very primitive sketch and then this fabulous portrait of a man in a plaid with a cap. I just unbelievable transformation in the drawings in just a very short period of time. And, you know, more on the next page, just very, very simple, you know, very childlike sketches in the beginning. But as we progress through this book, you can see like just like so much, so many, so much discussion in words, and just like she loves to talk. And so it's really hard to find the actual exercises. Now, this is, you know, one of the drills. Here we have one, but look how far into the book we are. We're like so far, and this is one of the first drills. So we've gone, you know, quite a ways before we even get to it. And then she wants to talk about why we're doing it, you know, for another 100 pages or something. So there's so much discussion and not a lot of getting down to what we need to do in this book. And if you want to see a complete flip of this book, I'm going to link in the description box below to the original video that I posted, which has been very popular on my channel, and you can go through the entire thing. But I'm just going to do a quick flip because it's, you can just see there really isn't a lot of practical exercises. It's mostly words. I mean, these are not exercises here. This is all her talking about things and not a lot of practical exercises. So this is interesting. This is a very early Van Gogh, and you can see that his work here is very primitive and his proportions are all off. And then we're looking again here at a painting much later where he's kind of learned so much about proportion and the human figure, and he's done a lot of studying and a lot of work, and he's come so far in his skills. So, you know, everyone has to start somewhere. So, but again, we're going to dive in. The reason that this is such an amazing system is that it literally unlocks drawing for you, because we're teaching our brain to work on the right side of the brain. And like some people are able to do this, and this is like, I mean, this is where the whole like myth of talent comes in, I think. And it's like some people are able to draw or paint, and they have a natural aptitude for it, and that natural aptitude is more that they have an ability to use that side of their brain already. So if you have that natural aptitude and you're already fairly good at drawing or painting, you're going to be able to take your drawing to the next level. If you have you know, no drawing skill, you're going to be able to jumpstart that and go so far, so fast. It literally will unlock your ability to draw. If you just stick with it and go through these drills, you can do it really fast, and that's a game changer. So I originally, this book comes with this viewfinder, which is part of her system, and it still comes with this. Originally, I wasn't sure if it did. Now, don't laugh, because this goes to my studio, and I've had, the kids have kind of messed it up a little bit. But I was originally exposed to this system when it first came out. I had an instructor or teacher that taught out of this system, and I was always very good at drawing when I was really young, and I was astounded that you could actually teach people to draw. And I think it was the thing that really interested me in learning how to teach people how to do art, because up to that point, I didn't know that you could teach people how to draw. So it was really, I mean, we had the Loomis method, we had Nicolaides, and I think I have one of the Loomis books reviewed on my channel. I can link to that as well. But this is really not like anything else, because it really does unlock that right side of the brain. So this is a pre-instruction self-portrait. And in my book, I've had to put a little piece of paper, because I let one of the kids in my studio use this book, and they drew in my book. I don't get mad at the kids, because they can't help themselves. Sometimes they get excited. So I just like kind of taped over this and with another piece of paper. And so when you start this workbook, you just draw a self-portrait, either looking at a photograph or put up a mirror and do that. Yeah, this kid went through the whole book, so I have paper on every page, which is hilarious. And then you draw your hand. So when you're drawing your hand, you just put your hand on a piece of paper, and you're looking at the four edges of the paper while you're drawing your hand here with the other hand. I mean, if you're lefty, you do the same thing. You just put the hand on a piece of paper here, you look at the four edges, and you just draw, okay? And then, let's see. But every page is, you're going to want to draw. This is all before you start the course. So this course is like, everything is explained. Every page is an instruction. So you're going to go through again. They have, they want you to do each of these on this side. Make the eight boxes and do these. And then they introduce the face and vase exercise, which is this. So they have this, and you repeat this on this side, and you repeat this on this side, okay? Then we have upside down drawing, just wonderful exercises on every single page. Lots of upside down drawing, because it tricks your brain into drawing what it sees and not what it thinks it sees. Okay, here's a little more complex one. We're just drawing upside down now. Lovely exercises. So part of the thing is that when our brain recognizes something, it wants to draw what it thinks it knows. And when it just sees a random series of lines, it's going to just draw, because it's just a random series of lines, so it'll let you draw what it sees. But if it recognizes like a person or legs or something, it's going to want to draw it the way it thinks a leg looks. Now we're going to get into the contour drawing in the next series. It's very thorough. And see, she's using her viewfinder to create sections, to break things up for you. And there's a whole series of exercises. So in every single section, you're going to have exercises to draw. And I'm going to just do a flip here. We're using negative space. In this exercise, we're just drawing the negative space, and the positive space emerges. We're drawing the shapes around the object. So in this exercise, you wouldn't be drawing the chair, but you'd be drawing the shapes around the chair. The shape here, the shape here, these shapes, this shape, that shape, that. Okay. You're going to draw some household objects. And you're using these techniques, drawing different things. Negative space. Negative space is the spaces or shapes around the object. And as these objects have shared lines, the object themselves will emerge because they share a line. So when we draw this shape, this edge of the chair emerges. Okay? We're tricking our brain into drawing the thing we want by drawing what's around it. Once you start drawing this way, and once you unlock this way of seeing, it just gets incorporated into how you draw and paint, and you don't have to think about it anymore. Right brain just clicks on. And all talent is, or all that is that some people just have that aptitude or the ability to use that side of their brain already. So once you learn how to do it, it has nothing to do with talent. It's just, you'll also be able to use that side of your brain. It's just like we talk about all the time, like people don't use their entire brain capacity. And this is why it's also important for children to have arts and arts education, because music and arts and poetry and dance and performing arts and all of that unlocks right brain thinking. So when we start losing that, we are losing part of our brain capacity and our brain's ability to think in that creative way. So here we go back into drawing in the corner. We're talking about citing relationships. So relationships are when we're looking at, when I'm looking at a picture or I'm looking at a scene, I'm thinking always about how far up is this in relationship to, like if I was looking at this and this person was sitting in the room, I'd say, well, how far up does this come in relationship to this on his jacket? And where is his elbow in relationship to his collar? And we're thinking about those things when we're putting those marks on the paper. Those are all things we're looking at and seeing, and like, where does the elbow come in relationship to her belly, and where does this elbow come in relationship to this elbow? Look at how far up it is above this one. How big is your hand? A lot of times people make hands too big or too small in a painting, and our hands are a lot larger. Our arms are longer than people think, Proportions of the head. We're giving us a master drawing in profile. And those are the proportions. And since these two objects are the same proportion, these two squares are the same proportion, you could draw that shape. You could draw this shape. You could draw that shape. And then this shape. And have at least the contour of the face, and then go in and add the rest. So this book, as you can see, is very detailed. It still has all the instruction that the other book has, but every page and every chapter is full of practical exercises. Now here is a student's pre-instruction drawing of a flag, and here's the post-instruction drawing of a flag. Amazing, right? It's astounding. It just literally unlocks drawing. Here's Betty Edwards' drawing of a flag. In art, we call this a no-tan because everything here has been broken down into light and dark with nothing in between. Anything light is white, everything dark is black. And here's something that's been shaded. This is another no-tan. Everything light is white, everything dark is black. It's a way to study values. And values are simply the difference between light and dark in a drawing or painting. And this is more proportions. This is Picasso again. And you can copy a Picasso. Here are more of the, pre-instruction, post-instruction drawings, which are just always going to be astounding to me. I just can't even believe it. These are always so outrageous to me. This is even crazier to me because this must have been a weekend workshop. July 12th. July 16th, 4 days later, this person drew this and then drew that. Insane. It's just crazy to me. So they must have had like a weekend workshop, 5-day workshop before and after. Unbelievable. This guy already had some good skills, but like his drawing really improved. I still get excited when I look at this stuff. And I've been looking at it for an insane amount of years because this stuff came out a long time ago. This is why I teach art, because it gets me excited. I'm excited for people when they unlock this because I get so much joy out of making art that when I see other people like being able to do this, it makes me really happy. So this is just fabulous, and I really adore it, and this is the one I tell everyone to get because she has finally figured out, and this is a terrible thing to say, but she has finally figured out how to break it down, get all the information into a concise version, and give you all the exercises. So most people don't need the other book. I mean, maybe teachers do, and very serious art students do. If you're going for a degree or something and you really want to learn the material, that's something different, right? Like if you're going for your degree and you really want to learn everything about why it works, get this book. If you want to learn how to draw really quickly and you need the practical exercises, this is the book that you need. And this is the one to work from, and these are the exercises. You can do these exercises as warm-ups forever. Now, I take this, I use it with adult students, I use it with kids, and I do the exercises along with everybody else. I don't just sit there. I mean, when I teach a class, if it's a kids class or an adult class, I work along with everybody. I do these exercises now, and I've been doing them for over 35 years. I love to do these because everyone needs to do a warm-up before they start drawing and painting. I never sit down and just start painting. I always do a warm-up, and lots of times I'll do these, or I'll do something that does a similar thing to my brain before I start drawing and painting. So can't recommend it enough. Absolutely love it. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It really does help my channel grow, and I do appreciate it so much. Thank you for being here, and please come again soon.